Hello. Oh, nice. Perfect. Hey everyone, first and foremost, thank you for coming to all of you. I'm Gori, I'm the CTO at Wonderland, and this is Skeletor, co-founder and lead architect at Wonderland. And the thing we want to discuss with you all today is AI and how it affects our processes and how it's been changing how we work for the past year and what do we think will happen next for AI processes, let's put it this way. This is something we've been struggling for the past 12 months or really thinking hard because we want to take advantage at the maximum, but at the same time we don't want to fuck up everything we've been building, the quality that we have been shipping, the excellency and everything.
So what if you were given 1,000 interns for free? What if I told you, hey, I have these 1,000 friends that just want to do work for you, right, for free, and they are eager to just not sleep, drink a shit ton of Red Bull, and just code away. Would you take them or would you not? And if you do, what will happen to your organization? How would you coordinate them? How would you spend time to make sure they are doing valuable work? This is a nice meme, and I think this will happen more and more, and we'll talk about this in the next slides. But one of the main reasons companies will fail, and we've seen this with the leak of Anthropic today, and a few other things the previous weeks, is that AI is very, very hard to manage.
So what's happening right now is that many people are looking at tools and basically going over the next tool and what Cloud Code is releasing, ChatGPT, and so on and so forth. And you end up spending so much time like actually setting up the tools and changing the tools and looking for what's next and the FOMO that it generates to me and I suppose to all of you, and less time actually shipping what you should be shipping and focusing also like on what you should be focusing. And, well, two things here. First, this might even sound funny, right? Like, hey, how can we have burnout if we have all these AI agents doing the work for us? Shouldn't we all be at the beach relaxing and doing nothing? We find it that it's quite the opposite, right? We find that now you have so many pull requests to review, so much documentation, so much things being shipped, and also the timelines are getting shorter and shorter. And this is natural, like to see people burn it out. Like all the context switching that you now have, it's real. Like, and we need to tackle it with the right processes. We cannot just expect everything to go extremely fast and people to adapt because they have not been trained for that, right? This is not what we have been onboarded people to do. Like the processes also need to change.
So, what are you going to maximize? Are you going to maximize amount of line of code shipped by day? Are you going to maximize, quote unquote, what have you done last week? Or are you going to maximize the quality of the things that you do, the quality of the decisions that you take? Are you going to take advantage of all of these agents to do the hard work for you, to go investigate, to go try things out, to follow the process that you set up, and maximizing the quality of the things that you do and the decisions that you take as a human?
One thing to add there is that, yes, you can go faster, but you can also like be extremely good. One thing we're doing, for example, is we're putting AI reviewers into every single thing we do. And this first makes the quality of what we do way better, and then it will make us go faster, which we're already seeing both. The other thing, this phrase is actually quite close to my heart, I would say, because it's a phrase that one CTO I used to work with 12 years ago told me, and it really stuck with me, is premature optimization is the root of all evil. Many engineers do know this phrase. And what it means is basically do not optimize or do not pre-optimize until the problem really becomes a problem, right? But funny enough, this stopped being true. Like with AI, premature optimization actually is a real advantage. Because before setting up all the structures and all the processes did take a bunch of time. But now the gaps that are being left because you don't have that structure are being filled and potentiated by AI, let's put it that way. Like AI agents will go in that gaps and they will maximize the good things and the bad things of your processes. So having extremely good structures and processes will be so beneficial. So premature optimization now is quite good.
Yeah. So as Gori was saying, sorry, did I cut you off? It's okay. Go. We didn't have much time to prepare this. We were just shipping. So the thing is, as Gori was saying, you first need to understand what you're going to do, and we'll get to this later as well. But the problem now is that for you to have a suboptimal process, it will take much more time to fix that. And we can see that easily as devs, as just legacy code, or things that, I don't know, somebody needs to maintain, et cetera, et cetera. And this literally gets super clear really, really fast. So you spend way more time trying to fix things later once they break, which they break really, really fast, rather than sitting down, maybe go and touch grass, really think about the problem, really think about the setup of the problem and the solution, asking Socratically, why are you trying to solve this and why is that way the best way? And then let AI scale the correct output.
At Wonder, how we approach every single problem since the beginning, since the inception of Wonderland about 5 years ago, was with a very defined structure. We always position ourselves as shipping excellency, right? And many people told us back in the days, like, bro, why are you like spending so much time like in the idea draft, right? Writing the scope of what you want to do, like in technical documentation, etc. And actually, now with AI, this became quite a superpower. Like before it was extremely good, now it's a superpower. The way, at least we do things, and we are talking with everyone and recommending them to copy us in this sense, is that before even writing a single line of code, we do the technical definition of every single smart contract, off-chain component that we're going to build, how they interact with one another, the invariants, literally everything. Then development becomes quite smooth. And this for AI is gold. Like, if you properly define everything, and you have architects reviewing this, and researchers looking for like things to get inspiration from, and developers reviewing this and everything, then development becomes smooth sailing, basically. And this will become more and more important, to the point even a couple of years from now where development will almost become instant. But the hard thing is taking these decisions, making this technical definition.
Yeah, and one quick thing to add to that, is that going back to the ethos of Ethereum is that you should not be trusting, you should be verifying. But if you don't have anything to verify against, how do you know if the output of your coworker or your coworker that just delegated everything to AI is good enough, right? Like, how do you evaluate that? Or how do you even evaluate like two agents competing to do the best outcome for a specific task? As Gori was saying, one of the things we started doing from day zero is having signed tech designs. And this is not only internally, but also externally with the partners that we work with. We need to make sure that before writing a single line of code, the thing that we're going to build is solid, is besides just being something good and well designed, it should be, it should not break, it should be future-proof. There is a word for this, I cannot remember it now. It should be anti-fragile. This is the designs that we are going to be building more and more, and not only for critical software that we've been building for so many years, but for most of the things that you would do. Because if you don't do that, you will just drown on technical debt.
Now you might be asking yourself, okay, you do tech definition, okay, you're very good at development, okay, I saw you literally everywhere in CC, in all the banners and everything, but what the fuck Wonderland does? Basically what we do is foundational engineering. We partner up with a hand-picked amount of protocols we believe in, and we help them solve their hardest technical challenges. We partner up for the long term, for example, with Optimism, and we help them solve interoperability in the superchain, or custom gas tokens, or with Aztec, for example. Let's help them solve the standards, how a multisig looks like with private state. I have tons of examples like that. We're a team of about 80 people, most of them, the vast majority, software engineers. So this is something that we're doing every day, and like struggles with AI that we're seeing every day and trying to improve.
Another cool thing is that you should not only wear one hat. You should always try to view things from different angles. The easiest thing you can do is just create a blue team, create a red team, and have them at it, right? Like try, right now, AI is getting very good at quote-unquote thinking, so you can just leverage that. Obviously, you will have more output that then you will need to digest, but I think that's way better than just like blindly kind of pushing through and kind of like brute forcing your way into a good quote-unquote project. This is why in our process it's super important to be able to separate the team that it's designing, or even like before designing, that is thinking about designing this idea, then basically putting that into words, into reading documents with all the specifications that we just said, and then the team building, and most importantly, the team writing the advanced tests and potentially attacks of the system that we just built.
Yeah, and some other teams are doing that as well. For example, Spark is doing a great job at separating and having like an internal security team and so on. And there's multiple like that. But you might be asking, hey, I don't have enough people to have an internal security team. I might not have even the resources. And I understand. And you right now don't need that per se. Of course, it's an advantage, right? But first, use AI agents for that as well. Like leverage them. Use AI audits as well. Like not only at the end of the process, but at the middle of the process. And also the developers of the protocol, like take out the hat of the developer for a week, put on the hat of an attacker, and try to attack your protocol. Like just think of how you can break things. That's key to not having findings and not having findings in audits and not having really exploits. The other thing that we have been seeing for the past 12 months, and it's going to increase, is that before, team leads used to spend little time organizing the tasks and also coding. Let's say 20-80, right? 80% coding. Now, more and more, and you might be seeing this as well, the team leads are spending 50% organizing and 50% coding. And this is going to get higher because the power of AI is not code as much as possible, it's organize as much as possible. Take the best decisions you can. And you should optimize your team to take the best decisions, to organize the interns that we were talking, like the 1,000 interns that just came through your door, the best they can do.
Yeah, so as Gori was saying, the most important thing here is, obviously most of us just stopped coding, and let's say some of us, specifically the CEOs out there or the business people or marketing people, started coding as well. And the thing is, obviously, as a coder, you do have a mentality on how things should look, how things work, right? We are all used to, hey, I created you a new linear ticket with these things that you need to go and figure out and then design the system, et cetera, et cetera. So you kind of understand the coordination needed as a single person, as a single developer. But as a developer as well, you don't understand the coordination needed to handle a team of 100 people or 1,000 people. And this is a new skill that we all need to start developing as fast as possible. Having said that, at Wonderland, I'm the lead architect, and I love Web3, and I've been like super excited about the space. For years, I've been a software architect, I know, for more years than I've been, for more than half of the years that I've been alive, not more. The thing is, as I was saying, if you're a developer, if you're whatever, a CEO, a business people, somebody that never touched code or even interacted with the way code is built, you need to shift your mentality. You're not a developer anymore. You should be thinking about how things are designed and how things are being thought as well to be designed. It's like you need to go like 3 levels up on the metaverse to be able to kind of really understand why you're building things and how you're basically building your process for building things. This might sound super complicated or maybe extremely abstract, but it's honestly fairly easy. You just need to ask questions and really think about the processes that you're putting in place and dumping the process that you have in your mind for the AIs to really understand and follow.
Yeah, and with what Skele was saying, right? Like, if you expect somebody to go into linear and write the specific task that you need to do with all the details that you need to do in order to build it, you're screwed. Like, change your mentality yesterday. Like, become an architect. Think about the bigger problem. Think about the why question. Why do I need to do this way? Like, and yeah, because if not, AI will replace you. But that's the power that we have. Like, you need to get really good at coordinating, at making decisions, at thinking as an architect. That's, yeah, the key to basically staying relevant.
So, as I was saying, leverage your AI. This is not something that say, hey, all your decisions should be taken by you or whatever. You can still leverage AI to do a bunch of things. And one of the things we've seen nobody's really using it for is just going out and scout and explore, right? Instead of just like blindly building things, use them literally as interns that just go and say, hey, can you like check what this is about? Can you check what that is about? Just like build me this, build me that, but as a proof of concept. That's something that follows a process that then you can decide on, right? That you can just get a very, very succinct information on the decision that you need to make and if that decision is sound or not, and then continue on that progress.
Yeah, exactly what we were saying. You can easily read it. Like, every engineer now becomes a manager, and you might be saying, hey, I didn't sign up for this. I apologize, good morning. Like, you don't have a choice. Like, and it's extremely exciting though. Like, the amount, if you ever vibe coded, you know this, you know the feeling of taking a lot of decisions and being able to see the result in real life and how you can stay up until 2 a.m., 5 a.m. or whatever, just shipping stuff, which is quite fun. If you didn't experience that exhilarating feeling, I really hope after the conference you go home and you vibe code something, because it's really cool, really, and anyone can do it. And yeah, think like a manager, start coordinating, think like an architect. This is extremely important. So 3 things to take out from this, or from the AI side of things. Write down your process. Like, spend time defining your structure as an organization, as a developer, everything. Write it down. The AI will be able to leverage that, and you'll be able to grab these 1,000 interns and put 150 in this first part of my process, 300 in this other part, 400 in this other part, etc. Separate the builder from reviewer. Now, avoid the AI slop. That's real, and in the industry we work in, it's extremely important to be secure. You cannot forget that even for a second. So put on your attacker hat and try to attack your protocol. And if you can, build your own internal security team. And 3, and most important,
protect your thinking time. And this is, I think this is critical. Most people will just spend way too much time just reading whatever AI vomits at them, right? Like all the logs, all the etc. It's like, oh, is this doing like good work or not? And this is because you are the process. Your brain is the process, and it shouldn't be that. You should basically remove that process from your brain, put it somewhere else, programmatically verifiable, and just go and touch grass. Go and relax, go and think, let your creative brain juices work, because that's your value as a human. That your value as a human is just getting context. If you need more context, it's like, hey, can you please explain more to this? Like Claude and all the AIs are amazingly at onboarding people and explaining very, very hard problems in your preferred way. But the most important thing is that you don't get sucked into this black hole of massive amounts of data and information just because it's, wow, it's super cool. It's like, oh, look, all of these logs or these things that it's doing. It doesn't really matter.
Now for the second part, we could do a fancy transition and say how AI impacts the privacy world and whatever. The reality is just that we had 40 minutes and we wanted to talk about both things. So we'll jump into privacy and why we think it's important and what we're doing in the privacy. So if you came for the AI talk, surprise, you have a bonus, privacy.
Okay, so privacy-wise, as Gori was saying, we are a big team of 80 people, and we were lucky enough to end up working alongside the Ethereum Foundation, for example, on Kohaku, which is a privacy by default wallet. The main idea of Kohaku is just, hey, like interacting on the VM should be private, and that's it, right? Like if you do want to do things publicly, that should be a toggle, not the other way around. As well with Aztec, which we are building with them, a bunch of private smart contracts primitives. For example, how do you even reason about something very, very simple as a private ERC, right? A private compliance ERC, a private multisig, a private lending market. I think that's a very, very tricky one. But it's like super interesting work that we are doing with them. And then as well with Jolt, which we are basically very, very excited about because it's enabling us easier access and faster access and cheaper access to proving systems.
And one cool thing about that, about being in all the frontiers of privacy in the ecosystem, is that we can have this cross-pollination. And while working in Kohaku, for example, and working very close to multiple privacy systems, right, we can leverage that knowledge and everything we're learning and apply it to Jolt. And same, for example, with Aztec. Like we see everywhere the real problems that we're facing, for example, while implementing privacy. And we also see, in the positive side of things, all the impact it can have on the world, like all the thing it unlocks. And I don't think enough people are realizing that, which is pretty awesome. Because privacy is not a crypto feature. CK is not a crypto thing. FHE is not a crypto thing. It's an infrastructure primitive. It's something you can implement everywhere and something that we need to accelerate the implementation everywhere. For example, this is incredibly surprising, and this is only 2025. There were more than 3,000 data breaches, for example, in the world, and the average data breach cost a company about $10 million. Like only one data breach, for example, in the healthcare industry, I think it was in 2024, breached about 200 million data, like data of 200 million people, which is 4 times the size of France. Basically, that's one breach. And companies, of course, are not happy about this. And when we're saying privacy, we don't mean like users saying, hey, I don't want companies to see my data because the data is being leaked and then I'm being screwed, etc. Like companies don't want your data. That's the reality. Companies don't want to hold your passport information, your credit card information. It's just a ticking bomb for them. But before they needed to hold this information in order to prove that you're over 18 years old. They needed to have this information in order to prove that you had a driving license or whatever. Let's replace that by CK proof, for example, by FHE, but all the crypto primitives that we're working on.
Yeah, so as Gori was saying, the problem is not the actual hackers or the actual data that you are sharing with. For example, if you're renting a car, you need to give them a bunch of things that are extremely sensitive. The car rental company doesn't do anything with it. It's not a value to them. It's just something that they need to ask you for compliance. And for them, this is a liability. And as Gori was saying, the problem is not the compliance side of things, is that they don't have the technology to save this in any other way. And they are literally like scanning your passport, making a photocopy that anybody can access. It's not like that you would need like some fancy AI hacking tool to access data on most of these places.
And this will only become more dangerous, right? With the advancement of AI tools, data is at the risk of being accessed, at the verge of being hacked. So these privacy primitives that we're discussing about are going to be extremely important. We need to remove that data from there, but leave the proofs because they need them.
Yeah, so the amount of information a company really needs from you is binary, right? Do you comply? For example, if you want to go into a bar, do you have more than the age required to enter? If you want to, take a credit out of a bank, do you comply with the things that they are asking? And this amount of data is just easily provable with math. Math is not corruptible. Math cannot be bribed. math is just there. So, and it's extremely cheap to execute and to build on. The thing is, the technology is here, right? It's just a matter of being able to ship one example that then the whole industry can use and can adapt. There are a bunch of companies already building really, really cool things with cryptography, with encryption, et cetera, and this is why we're putting a bunch of effort internally into kind of jumping on all of these different new systems and verticals that we are very, very excited about.
One more thing is that this is not like some feature that's gonna, I don't know, make crypto a bit better. This is a whole new market whatsoever. Like, there is a bunch of new companies that are gonna be created, implemented CK in all the other companies, implementing FHE, implemented CK-TLS. Like, and crypto and Web3, it's making a whole lot advancements on the CK side of things specifically, and CK-TLS. The thing we're not seeing that much of yet is that being implemented everywhere in the world. Well, yeah. I want to go into what happened with Google today.
Yeah, I can jump on that. So you probably know, but Google has been doing a lot of research on quantum computing. And they just released that they hit a major breakthrough. But for obvious reasons, they cannot basically prove that what they did is true. So how do you do that? Like, how do you prove that something of value is actually valuable without revealing the thing that it has value? And this, Gori can talk about this later, but this, I think, won some guy some cool Nobel Prize or whatever. Yeah. The cool thing is that they just build a CK proof that proved the attack. They build a circuit with the attack, and they say, hey, you can verify the circuit, you can verify the proof, and you don't need to see what's inside. And this, besides just this quick example, this makes companies and everywhere else like more efficient, because the less data, besides obviously the compliance and the liability side of things, the less data that you have, it also means that you can do things faster, things better, not be biased by other things, and just be able to coordinate better, to have liquid ideas like flowing, to be able to share private information and do computation on those private informations without having to leak them.
Yeah, in the crypto industry in particular, for example, there have been multiple experiments of white hats being able to prove that they can hack a protocol without actually showing that they can hack it in order to get the bounty and then disclose it fully. I think that's one vertical which is extremely interesting. And it all connects to these guys like Kenneth Arrow, which said many years ago, you cannot share an idea without actually sharing, like, you cannot tell how good an idea is without giving it away. And now, the funny thing is that we can start doing that. Like FHE, for example, and the incredible work that the Sama guys are doing, for example, will allow us to do that. I think that's extremely interesting and exciting.
Yeah, so another thing this enables is for you to, quote unquote, own what you have, and for you to be able to prove that, let's say, what you have is yours. This is very cliche, and I think you've heard it everywhere, but it's extremely useful, not for you as a person, but maybe you as a company, you as a bank, you as somebody that needs, for example, to say, hey, I have this contract with this supplier, right? I don't want to leak you, like how much I'm charging the supplier, but I want you to know that I have this contract that is from a value supplier that you trust. So can you give me a loan? Or can you like execute on this? Or can you do whatever financially? Or for example, you are going through a merger and acquisition, right? So the company that wants to buy you says, hey, show me everything you got, right? Good, like meme from Rick and Morty. But for your best outcome is obviously to comply, to show everything, but you are not ensured that the company will just say, hey, okay, all good, sorry. And even if they signed an NDA, or your basically critical company data is leaked. This is something that we don't see a lot of people working on, and this is something that it's already available to be able to start, I don't know, like pushing the industry forward with.
Yeah, not many people know that FHE is something that works already, for example. That's interesting. And, well, CK-TLS as well. For example, one other clear example is Uber drivers. Like, hey, I do have plenty of reviews. I've been working like 10 years as a Uber driver, and this is extremely valuable to me. How can I export that data and prove in another place that I have all this? These are the things that this crypto primitive allows, as well, way, way, way more.
Yeah, kind of doubling down on this, and we added this specifically because of Wonderland and how we work and how we hire people. Similarly, there has been a study that says that hiring becomes better when you see less information about the candidate that you're hiring. Besides just being quote unquote more fair to the person, it also analyzes and it's very critical in analyzing the outcome of that hire and the productivity of that hire. And this is something when we started Wonderland that we wanted to do. You've probably seen us, like we have very weird names, like his name is Gorilla, my name is Skeletor. That's not the name that our parents gave us, but that's something that we gave all the people that joined the company because we don't care who you are. We don't care what you look like. We don't care how old are you, what sex do you have, etc., or what type of sex do you have. We just care about what you do, right? We just care about your ideas, the way you think, the way you learn. That's the important thing. So being able to now, besides just saying, oh, we kind of know like who you are, because obviously for compliance reasons, as an employer, you need to have data of your employees. But now, if we had a system in which we don't have that liability, I don't really care about knowing your real name or where are you from or etc. Right? I just care about that you're a legitimate person that has a legitimate, passport or whatever, that you can work in a company and you're producing good work. And I don't even need to know what good work you produced before. I don't need to know if you worked at company Y, Z, or X. I just want to know that you work at a company that I trust and that you did very, very good work there.
And similar to what happened with HTTP transitioning into HTTPS, I suppose you're not seeing that many HTTP websites now anymore, but before it was a thing. Like, actually, and the transition was extremely fast. And why is that? Because HTTPS at the beginning was extremely complex, right, to implement, but then it became simpler. You started seeing it everywhere. You started seeing libraries on how to adopt it. It became free also to adopt and to rotate the certificates. And not only that, but it became shameful to have an HTTP website. For example, in Chrome, with the badge of, hey, this thing is insecure. Are you really, really sure you want to go inside? That drove the adoption of HTTPS from 40% to 99% in only 4 years. And I think right now we're at the 40%, or well, even less of CK. And the transition is starting to happen now. And it will be even faster with AI, because the rate of adoption and the rate at what you can implement complex protocols is way shorter right now. So I hope even in less than 4 years from now, we start seeing CK everywhere.
Yeah, and not only CK, but all of these new primitives that enable us to be able to do compute on private data. For us all to just not even have to know that it's being used under the hood, right? Like most of us, well, I know, but a lot of people don't really know like how HTTPS actually work, like what TLS is or what the hell, like how does that get distributed, etc., etc. And it will happen the same. Like most people don't know about CK or about fully homomorphic encryption, but they don't need to. Like we need a very few examples and a very clear guidelines for just the entire industry to copy. And we need a little bit of shame as well. We need somebody also like kind of pushing people to, besides obviously the economic incentive and the liability incentive, we need better, let's say, better rules of the systems that we are using, both from the government and from the user's perspective, that are pushing these companies or services to implement something that is best for everybody.
Yeah, we need to get to the point where when a company asks you, hey, can you give me your passport? You're saying, wait, what? Like, that's extremely dangerous. Why would I give you my passport? Like, I will open CK passport, will give you the proof that you need. So we need to get to that point. We need to get to that shame, let's put it that way, of companies asking for that much data that they don't need, and as we spoke previously, they don't want either.
Yeah, so we are 80 people, we are we are always growing, we're always hiring, so if you want to work with us, come join us at the booth, it's up here. Else, just reach out through Twitter or our website. I will have the link in the last slide. And I think that the cool value of what we do is that we are not kind of siloed out and just watching one thing. We love having a holistic view on the ecosystem, both from the privacy side of things, but also from the DeFi ecosystem or the other primitives and verticals that we find are interesting and will be a key part of the next years of society. We explain about these kind of 3 layers of the privacy stack, from the user experience side of things to how you actually build software that is private to how you actually prove software that is private. And if you're interested as well in any of the things, or if you're building any of these things, or if you are wanting to integrate any of these fancy things with fancy words and you have literally no idea what to do, please reach out. We would love to talk with you.
Yeah, and if you see right now if you see your development is your bottleneck, if you see you could use like a mega booster as of Wonderland, do let us know. Like, we work with some of the best protocols in the ecosystem. And yeah, if you are literally eager to work on the hardest problems in the industry, come to our booth to talk with us. We're looking forward to meeting you. They are cutting the talk, so we need to accelerate.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, we got very excited. We didn't have a bunch of time to prepare this. Thank you all for coming. I think someone important is going to give a talk in a few minutes. A very good friend of ours. So yeah, come reach us, come talk to us. We love tackling really, really hard problems and thinking about very cool things. Yeah, thanks all, and thank you for coming to ETHTC. Hope you had a great time.
Come to the CTF if you're a Solidity developer. Yes, as well.
I don't think we have time for questions, do we? Is there anybody? No? Okay. If you have any questions, reach out. Bye.